We can start with Denyce. How did your mother and father meet? Do you know?
Yes. So my father was in Vietnam. He was in the army, and he went to a show in Korea where my mother was she was a singer. She was an artist, a recording artist, and she was performing for what she calls the GIs. And my dad saw her, and that's how they originally met in Korea.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful. So, for being that I have you here, Donnell, what was it like getting to play a modern day Robin Hood in this version of Santa?
Yo, it was very exciting, man. The script was it was a good read, and it's fun to do something different as a Black man in Hollywood. For years, my career was, player, or ball player, take your shirt off, nothing really serious, cheating boyfriend, all that stuff. And all the while I wanted something of substance. And so this role gave me a chance to play a character with some depth. It's a lot like Donnell the person. I got a big heart, I hate bullies. So this is kind of in line with something I would do anyway. But it was exciting for me as an artist to do something outside of my typical box, because as I get older, I feel like this is the lane I want to be in.
Yeah. Do you guys find yourself sort of shifting into a new lane as you get older? Because me, myself, being 42, I find myself like someone invited me to like a club, and I was like, I'm not going. I don't want to be the old man in the club. I'm not going. No. It's like, how do you find yourself shifting when it comes to these roles you're getting?
Well, first of all, the club is, you never want to be the old guy in the club. I went a couple years ago and everybody knew all the lyrics and I was looking around like, I don't know this. I timed out in 04, when we were singing Windows to the Walls or something like that, right? I knew that one. But yeah, I used to be the player, now I'm the coach, so that takes some humbling. I used to be the hot guy, now I'm the hot guy's dad, so that takes some getting used to. But Denyce, I'm sure, doesn't have to worry about that because Denyce is timeless. You're a vampire.
So kind of you. I still, listen, tell that to my back and my knees, okay? No, I started out in this industry in like pretty young, having to be in clubs, having to be, at events all the time. And unless I have to be somewhere, I would rather be here. I would rather have an intimate gathering doing game nights and dinner parties and making some charcuterie boards, doing some bougie stuff, but then also having some Kool-Aid on the side with other people. You know what I mean? For, just for the friends and family members. I'm not a club girl anymore, but I still love to dance. So there's occasions where I'm like, let's go find a good reggae club and just grind on some folks, or a salsa club,
Yeah, I'm a jazz club kind of guy. But speaking of clubs, I want to ask a question a little later, but it feels right now. Denyce, your first speaking role was you trying to get in a club with DMX. That was your first speaking line. Do you have a memory from that experience that you sort of hold close to your heart?
I do. So that was my first speaking line on television, yes. And it was with DMX. And so I knew DMX from when I worked in the music industry. I did A&R and a lot of promo for Def Jam. And so I knew DMX from my Def Jam days. So one of those memories I had was him saying that he was really proud of me. And not only did he pray with me, because he prayed before he did anything, he prayed over me and my career and my life. And so from that moment, I remember that. There's so many memorable moments from filming that. But I also found something, I'm not going to say which actor said or did it, but something that an actor did that was on that show, which was half and half. Something they did, I vowed I would never do. And they were just very standoffish and they removed themselves from like the background and the guest stars and the co-stars of the show. And every time I was around them, or I would sit amongst them in the audience or just, talk to them, this one particular actor would just be like, you don't have to do that. You can go and stay in your room. That's where I stay. And I was just like, that stank. And this particular person is still stank to this day. Which is very unfortunate. I was a big fan of this person, but I pride myself on never doing that. I thought it was it was really just in poor taste to be that way and treat people that way, especially people who are here to work with you to make your show what it is. And so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you have those memories, good and bad, because it made you a better person. Donnell, your brother was in DRS, sung one of the greatest songs.
Wait, what? Why did I not know this?
I tip my 40 to your memory, which is art and culture. What was it like growing up with a brother who had one of the biggest songs at the time?
Wow.
Yeah, we were going through, I'm gonna try to make this quick. We were going through the mall one day, and my brother is living with me, sleeping on my floor of my 1-bedroom apartment. I have a newborn, and I'm selling, you know, weed to pay bills. And that was just what I did then. I thought it was cool. And so I was hustling, and my brother was sleeping on the couch. We'll go to the mall one day, and some guys were like, yo, EJ, that's my brother's name. We've been looking for you. We just signed a deal with Ruthless Records. And everybody knew that, you know, the Turner brothers played basketball, and afterwards we would, you know, drink 40s or whatever, but then we would sing. And so they all knew my brother could sing. EJ could just do it. And so they were like, yo, we got a thing with Ruthless. We were like, whatever, meet us tomorrow. Sure enough. Then MC Hammer found out. Hammer's pockets were bigger. They were deeper at that time. There was a bidding war for a group that my brother was in. I tried to audition. They didn't want me. I was too young. I was only like 18, 19. Then my brother says, yo, let's write this song. I'm like, man, whatever. He's like, let's write this song. Man, whatever. Next thing I know, Ham outbid Ruthless. They're with Ham. Song gets picked up. You know, oh man, we touring. I'm like, is this real? Is this real? I will never forget, we're driving in a hoopty Datsun B210 with primer, like gray, you know, no paint on it. And we pull up at a stoplight, and we starting to hear cars pulling up, bumping the song. We're like, yo, hold up. We thought it was the cassette. You know, we pull the cassette out, we still hear it. And we're like, yo, and then the next light. And then we're going places, cars driving by. We're like, okay, how is this happening? You know, it happens before you know it. Yo, Ham, we driving a B210, folks bumping the song, you know. He wires some money, we get a little Jeep Cherokee. And I mean, it just started getting bigger and bigger, you know. And the next thing I know, my brother's like, yo, we're going to Baltimore. Yo, we're going to New York. And it just started taking off. Now we're seeing them on Soul Train. Now we're seeing them on American Music Awards. I'm in the video. If you look at the video, I'm the one who jumps out of the Impala, who shot the dude that they singing about. So if you see the bald cat, that was me at 19. I thought my career was going to take off then. I thought that I was like, oh Lord, I'm about to take off. Had my own trailer, the whole nine. And yeah, and so Gansta Lean and DRS was a whirlwind for about 3 years. And to me, their tightest song was Scoundrels Get Lonely. The remix was fire. The video, Ham dumped a lot of money, and it was just 19, you know. It wanted 95% women, 5% dudes, 40s, blunts. It was a wild time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We got shot up in Palo Alto. Oh yeah, the video shoot got sprayed. I'm getting thrown down by bodyguards. It was wild. You know, the 90s. The 90s were, you know, it was Vietnam. You know, you get out of that and you can still smile. And you know, that's saying something, especially in that industry. We learned how gully, Denyce, you probably know how gully that rap industry is. It can be, you know. And so my brother's just got stories and stories, and he was just like, yo, I did what I wanted to do. I'm done. I'm out. I don't have any desires. He's got a platinum record. He's got a gold record from Jason's Lyric, the soundtrack. You know, experiences, he's good. But it was a whirlwind, brother. It was a whirlwind.
I can
Wait,
imagine.
can I give it's not a fun fact because it's not fun, but I did know it's so eerie. Like I've been trying not to cry this whole time. That was one of my brother's like favorite songs, like growing up. We played that at my brother's funeral. And I occasionally play that song when I think about my brother.
I lost my friend at 16 too, so I have that same memory.
Oh, you guys.
And there's like, I know this is really, it sounds really messed up, but when there are projects that I have to work on where I know I have to have a certain type of just really hard emotion, there's 3 songs that I have on a playlist that I will play. And that is one of them, which is so insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
I did not know that. I did not know that about your brother. That's insane.
Yeah.
You've done your research, sir. I'm like, I don't know all these things.
That song, we're gonna real quickly, that song got us street cred everywhere. Because at first we were we talked a certain way, we dressed, mom and dad made sure we dressed a certain way. We couldn't be thugs, couldn't be knuckleheads, and all of a sudden it was like, wait, hold up, you a gangster now? You got the street song. Everywhere we went, the scariest, meanest, most menacing looking individuals would come up to us like, yo, you DRS? And we're like, yeah. Yo, that song, man, we put my homie in the ground to that song, man, much love. And everywhere you went, somebody's trying to fire up a blunt with you. Everybody's trying to drink a 40 with you. Everywhere you go, there was street love. I don't turn my nose up at the blunts or the 40s because that was love. You know what I mean? That was their offering of love. So at that time, it was just like, this is great. And, thanks for not killing me.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Denyce, I saw on your story you were buying Christmas ornaments, and your Christmas tree is beautiful, by the way. Thank you for sharing it. My question to you specifically, being that this is Most Wanted Santa, how much does your Christmas decor now look like or remind you of the Christmas decor you either had as a kid or wanted as a child?
I wish I could show you this big ass Christmas bag I have on my floor right now that I dragged up here last night. So it's actually the reverse. I'm such a sentimental person. Long story short, last year was my first year in having different ornaments from my childhood. And what I mean by that is, like, I have like this favorite Christmas memory with my mom and my brother that has stuck with me my whole life, that my Christmas tree every year has been red and gold, because that was what we had for decorations when I was little. And it wasn't because it was our favorite, it was because that's all we had, and we wouldn't throw it away. We kept it. And so I just always associated my Christmas with gold and red ornaments. So they got fancier over the years, but last year I made 90% of my ornaments because I decided I wanted rose gold and white and silver. Huh. And I couldn't find the ornaments that I wanted. So I sat here for like a week and hand painted and I sewed and made my own ornaments. And so, it's actually the opposite. It's not because I'm trying to let go of my childhood or Christmas memories, but I've come into just a different, like you asked earlier, I've come into a different space in my life, like even my home, like all this is new. I put this up just a few days ago and I still have to finish painting my paintings. I'm just in a different decorative space at this age, at 43. There's just a little bit more sophistication and a little bit more bouginess with a little bit of other things in here as well. But yeah, it's very adult. I'm adulting right now.
So traveling the world and doing what we do, you start to, I don't want to say take for granted, or we try our best not to take things for granted, or we get into this space where we do adult and we have standards that are way higher than we ever dreamed of. And I think that's because when we were children, we had this idea of our adult lives in our head, in our mind. So when we do these amazing things, that's what we were promised in the brochure. Like, this is what I've always dreamed my life to be like. My question to you is, how close to that dream is your life currently? And how can we get it to be exactly where we want it to be?
I wanted to be Vanessa Williams, Bette Midler, and Whitney Houston when I was a kid, so I'm nowhere near that.
I wanted to be Bruce Lee and Billy D. Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
think my finger's on the pulse. Yeah, I'm right there.
That's amazing.
I think career-wise, I never thought that. It's so funny. I was watching Most Wanted Santa. I was laying in bed. I was like, I'm gonna just watch it because I'm obsessed with just pulling things apart and saying, where can I be better and what can I do? And I was watching it, and there was this one scene, I looked at it, and it was the first time in my life, in my career, where I was watching it. I cannot make this up, the other night. And I was like, oh, I was like, I'm on TV. I was like, it's like, wow, I'm really in movies. I'm like, I'm on TV. I'm really exceeding my goals right now. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. You know, that cliche statement is so true. But I was watching it, and for the first time in my life, I saw myself on television and was very proud of myself. Not that I haven't been proud of my journey or any of the things that I've done or gone through, but there was like a recognition and seeing myself on the screen and was like, oh damn, like
Yeah.
that's dope. Yeah.
I
Yes.
remember, I remember years ago, an older woman, cougar, who told me to, I was dating an older woman, she was like 15 years older, and she encouraged me to make a life's to-do list. Now, we didn't call it bucket list. I don't even like the term bucket list. It seems a little negative, but it was a to-do list. And I made that list at 25. And it included things like being a guest star on a Black sitcom, when you make the entrance and the crowd cheers or whatever. I was specific. She said, don't be bashful for nothing. Just write it. Just write it. It's your list. You fold it up and look at it in 6 months, in 2 years, in 5 years. And I wrote 43 things down, and I've accomplished almost all of them. I mean, skydiving and going to China. I had outlandish things like, doing push-ups on the Great Wall of China. I haven't done that yet, or doing a backflip. I probably will never do that. But I've done a lot of other exciting things that I've like added to the list and then crossed it off, that exceeded even my wants. So I'm grateful for the journey. There's more, because the fun part is you can always add more, because the final chapter is not written. So I'm living my dream daily. Like Denyce said, to look up and say, hey, I want to watch me in a movie. It's kind of cool. And it took a long time to get here, because I used to watch myself like this, and over the years now I can actually watch myself and not hate it. And so it's cool, because my grandkids are in love with the movie. And so for me, that means everything in the world. When I found out that my Denyce, remember we gave a shout out to my grandson Miles for his birthday on set. He was front and center and rewound every scene 5 times, knows, the movie, some of the phrases and the words in the movie. And for me, it's exciting to know there's a whole generation of kids out there that could watch this every Christmas. See sophisticated Black people on the canvas talking about atypical subject matter. We're not talking barbershops or barbecues, and no shade on that, but those stories have been told abundantly. So it was nice to have something else. It's nice to know that my grandkids are watching it and love it, and it's nice to know that I could watch it and feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, yeah.